yourself settled in. It's time to begin the Lunch and Arbor Marketing Program this April 28th. Hello to Derek in Rome. I'm Derek for the day. I'm impersonating Derek Marabon, founder of Lunch and Arbor Marketing. If Derek is listening, can we just say hello, Derek? Hi. Tell me, who is new here to Lunch and Arbor Marketing? No. Great. Well, welcome. The program runs the same every week. We invite a speaker to talk on a business or marketing topic. That's followed by questions and answers. And then we do around the room introductions, introducing yourself, your business, if you've got a particular ask. I'm Dee Davey, and I work with Derek in running Lunch and Arbor Marketing. And one little announcement, somebody left some sunglasses up in the registration area.
Oh, you know that, I think I did.
Okay, great. There you go.
Thank you very much.
So to get on to today's program, before we do that, we are a nonprofit. Well, we've applied for nonprofit status, and we don't charge any registration or membership fees, but we do pass the bucket and ask for donations. Recommended donation is $3, but that's entirely up to you. So Stacy, our treasurer, will start the bowl around. And it's my pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Jean-Paul Narowski, representing KarmaCRM. And it's a subject of importance to all of us because sales are so critical to any business, whether you're a single business owner or a multinational. And Jean-Paul is going to talk us through choosing the right CRM for you. Big round of applause for Jean-Paul. Thank you.
Not so good with technology, so how do you turn this thing on? Maybe the on button. Hello?
Are you okay with that?
Sure. All right, how's everybody doing today? Great. So as Dee said, I'm going to be talking about CRM, and as I'll explain, it's not CMS, it's not WordPress, it's actually customer relationship management. A little bit about myself. I'm an entrepreneur. I founded MetaSpring, which is a creative and technical consulting firm. We do website design, things like that. Created Karma, so I will talk about Karma as one of the potential CRM systems. We did make that, so it's a little bit of a shameless plug, but I'll go through some other ones as well so you have a good idea of some different solutions to choose. And I'm a hacker, code master, programmer. I created Karma out of a need that I had at MetaSpring because we went through a number of other systems and we didn't find a CRM system that was clean and easy for ourselves and our salespeople to use. So what is CRM? Again, not CMS, not content management system. It stands for customer relationship management. So CRM helps you organize your leads, organize your customer contacts. If you're using it on the sales side of things, you can actually organize them according to status and stage, so you know who to call, when to call, upcoming events, and things of that nature. It's typically used for sale or potentially customer service teams, help desk teams, people that need to manage the communication with your customers. Some of the big dogs include Salesforce, Sugar CRM, Act is a desktop-based version. It's been around for a long time. So how do you get, well I guess before I even get into that, how many people use CRM or are familiar with the term? Good amount of people. And I guess how many people use CRM on a daily basis? All right. So, before we go into CRM, maybe raise some hands. How do you get your leads? How do you get business? Name some ways. Raise your hands or just shout it out. Search engines. Referrals. Lead Nuke. Another plug for Steve's software, leadnuke.com.
The list.
using a list, networking, speaking, I guess, things like that. So there's a number of different ways that you can actually get leads. Nepotism, if you're lucky, you got someone that can throw you some business. So these are a few of the different ways. There are plenty of ways to get business, but we have all these different channels for getting leads. And then, now we have the lead. What do we do with it? So you've gotten a referral from a friend or a previous customer of yours, or through your advertising. And then what happens? So now you have this lead, you have this name, you have this business card, and then what do you do with it? What do you do with it? So when I started doing sales, one of the first things I did was nothing. It was in my head. I had this massive computer in my head and I could calculate everything. Never forgot events, sent proposals out on time all the time, and I had this idea that I could just manage it in my head. And it was out of necessity. I just got thrown into the sales role and I didn't really have a process or a system. So it was all in my head. And if I was gone, the sales team was gone. And all aspects of it were gone. So we got a little bit more savvy and we started using spreadsheets. We thought we were the best. We had Google spreadsheets set up, everybody was looking at it. We had all like 45 different fields laid out with different statuses, and a little difficult to add notes and things like that, but nonetheless, we use a spreadsheet. And that's not a bad way to do it, especially if you have a small number of users. Your spreadsheet can be your CRM system. This is not a bad system if this is what you're using. It's just another one that people use. And there are pros and cons to a spreadsheet. Add yet another sticky note to the monitor. Now this way, we did this way for a little bit, and this very quickly led to pain, agony, stress, and a monitor that looks something like that. Now, if you're trying to do computing on this monitor, I kind of compare it to when you're starting your car in the winter and you have a tiny little hole you can see out of. That's kind of like what this is. You have a little hole where you can see your desktop, and the rest is just spattered with sticky notes. And this is a picture of me actually implementing this system. No good. I don't think I closed a single sale when my face looked like that. So, add them to your CRM system as an option. You can now, with adding your leads to the CRM system, there are a few ways to do it. You can manually enter it if you get a lead from a networking event or a referral. If you have it set up to integrate with your website, you can actually have it automatically enter into your CRM, and that's more advanced. But if you have a lot of leads, it sometimes can be a very invaluable tool for managing your process, whether it's through a help desk ticket or a lead that comes in. The salesperson can be assigned, notified right away. And that may be a little more than most people need if you're a small business or an individual. But those options are out there. So why should you care? I guess this is a little small for some of the people in the back to read, but why use CRM? What are some of the reasons? I mean, it's a buzzword. Adopting it for buzzword name alone is probably not reasonable. But customer retention, I think if you use CRM, you're going to be able to retain your customers longer. You're going to be able to cross-sell and upsell them because you can put notes in there about what they may need now, what they may need later, a task that may be a year away saying, we don't have budget now, but call us back in a year, we're really interested in this product. They're not a dead lead, they're just someone that you can't service right now. Now without a CRM, you might add a sticky note that gets thrown away when you move your desk, or add it to a spreadsheet, or make a note in your Outlook, and that may work too. But with a CRM, you can put an event for X amount of time ahead, and it pops up a year later where you didn't even think about this customer at all. So it helps retain customers better. It makes customers evangelists. If you use CRM for customer service, for the customer calls, they have a question, you note it, you log it, they call later, someone else answers the phone, they know exactly where you left off. It helps make people very happy when you emphasize using it and you use it how it should be used. And therefore your customers, they become evangelists because they're so happy with your product or your service, they're going to go out and tell people about it. And I think a customer as an evangelist is a much more effective marketing tool than direct marketing or than your salespeople trying to push services on them. In customer acquisition, the primary tool when you're using it as a sales tool is that you want to get leads, you want to be able to know where your leads stand, where are they in the pipeline. And when you acquire a customer, you may have 3 leads coming. One that's a hot lead that needs to be followed up with immediately, one person that needs a week to qualify certain tasks, And then another person that's 2 years down the road is you need to get back to them. And with CRM using it effectively, you can organize the leads into their respective categories and not give each customer the same attention, because someone that's a qualified lead for down the road doesn't need the attention. If you're trying to follow up with them when they shouldn't be, then you're wasting your resources. And also in cost reduction. If you're more efficient with dealing with your customers, whether it's through sales or through customer service, you can spend your sales team, which you may be able to have do more, is just going to be more efficient. They're going to be able to handle more. They're going to be able to be on top of things more. There's going to be less in their head and therefore less stress. I know personally, keeping it all in my head at one point, it got to the point where you feel like you're supposed to go to a meeting, but you don't know which one, and you look at your calendar and your Google Calendar and 4 other calendars you use, and needless to say, I have missed meetings before. It happens. And one of the driving reasons to implement CRM is to make sure that everybody's looking at the same set of data. Everyone has the same information in your team, whether it's your business partner or your sales manager or whoever it may be. So there are reasons to and not to implement CRM, although I have a difficult time thinking of reasons not to, but I'll go over that too. So when is it a good reason for you as a company or as an individual to adopt a CRM system? If you want to organize and manage your sales team and sales process more effectively, if you have leads but you feel like you're not getting enough out of them and you don't really know exactly why or where they stand, CRM can kind of add that additional rigidity to your sales process that allows you to decide who to follow up with now, who needs attention later, and who should be just put on your mailing list. It helps collaborate with team members, whether it's sales or customer service. If it's all in your head, if you're the sales superstar and you don't want to share with anybody else, well, they can't answer. If you're not there and they answer the phone, they're at a complete loss. They'll take your name and number and say, we'll get back to you when John gets back from Hawaii. That's not good. Also for reliable projections. I know I certainly was subject to this, and still, when I talk to my business partner about where our leads are in the pipeline, when he asked me, I'm like, I swear this is going to close. Like, we have a lot of good hot leads. He's like, how many? I'm like, a lot. And so with CRM, if you use it the right way, if you really plan out your percentages, you can say when a lead is in this stage, they're 90% qualified, they're 90% going to close or go with us. This is 10%, this is 4%. You can actually create projections that eliminate the need to depend on the salesperson to give you some off-the-cuff estimate of how healthy your pipeline is. And also, on that same note, if your sales superstar, the guy that's closing business for you left and right, they leave, they quit, they get sick, whatever it may be, these things happen all the time. If it's all in their head, then your sales team is at a significant disadvantage, or your sales process. And if this happens, salespeople are protective of their leads. They want to make sure that they have the control and the power over the leads, and for better or for worse, that's what I've encountered. And so if you have a CRM system, and as a manager of a salesperson, if they're putting other leads into the CRM, if you're spending the time to assess where things are, they leave, you can pick up right where they left off, and you have a minimal level of pain in transferring the ownership to someone else, but you're not at a loss. You don't have to start from square zero, which I've seen happen and I've heard about, where the sales guy's just gone and all of a sudden it's like, well, where are our leads? We'll just wait for emails to come in and see what happens. So when is it a bad idea? If you're unwilling to commit to using a CRM, if you really have difficulty being consistent in putting the information in, it's only as good as the information you put into it. So if you're not going to put notes in there, if you're not going to put emails and change the status as people are, as their status actually changes, then it's not going to be worth much to you. It's just going to be a bunch of outdated information. You won't be able to use it for anything for accuracy, and it will be a waste of time, so you might as well not bother. If you have one or a few clients, even then I feel like you can use a CRM system. That's coming from my perspective, but sometimes it's a little more rigid than someone who has maybe one primary client or a few small number of clients have. So you may not need to get into CRM and spend a whole lot of time customizing something if you have a a small number of clients, or if you're afraid of computers. But you can always learn too. So if you have the fear of computers, I would at least take a look at it and consider. But if you really don't feel like you enjoy working with computers, I mean, it's a pretty obvious thing. I don't think we have a problem with that in this room, but I need more bullet points to put up. So a little bit about the CRM industry and kind of where I see things going. I see more companies being more comfortable adopting cloud-based applications, things that are hosted online. More companies are allowing their data to be hosted with third parties, whereas this has been a big pain point, a big issue or concern for companies is we don't control our data, and that's a scary thing. But I think that as you see the advent of additional web apps and Google continually releasing useful tools, companies are getting used to the idea that they may be able to do web-based services and not have to have an expensive hosted server infrastructure. I also see with the advent of things like the iPad, tablets, smartphones, that with the right software interfacing with your CRM, that salespeople can become much more mobile. You can have all your contacts, all your information on your iPad, on your iPhone, on your Android, or whatever smartphone you may use. And you're much more effective. You can go to a lead. You don't have to worry about leaving a sticky note on your desk because it's all right there with you. And I think those two factors together are what you'll see in the future of cloud-based CRM and sales teams evolving to kind of work with the new technology that's available. In a report by AMR Research, they projected, or they said the CRM industry was $12 billion in 2006, $14 billion in 2007, and then they projected that in 2012 it was going to be $22 billion. So those are good numbers for seeing CRM growing and more people adopting it, more people understanding the importance of it. Unfortunately, since 2012, there are other predictions also. So I guess we just have to get there first. And if we get to 2012 and we're still growing, 2013, that'll be a good metric to follow. So what are some of the types of CRM? We've talked about it as a concept, but what are they? So you have, these are all probably really hard for people to read. I didn't know they'd be so small, so sorry for the people in the back. So you have web-based and you have desktop. Those are two big ones. Within web-based, you can have hosted, you can have stuff that you host yourself. And I outline some of the pros and the cons. I'll also put this slideshow, I'll get it on the LA2M site, and I'll put it on our blog as well. So web-based, some of the advantages, it's accessible from anywhere. You don't have to have your desktop or your server with you to get your leads. That could be a huge advantage if you're a mobile company. It's easy to share data and collaborate, so the information is not locked into your email. I remember sitting down with other sales reps when I'm trying to say, here, can you work on this lead? You have to go look up all your emails, forward all the emails, give a bunch of sticky notes, rip out the piece of paper that you have in your pamphlet, and needless to say, there's information lost. And they still don't have a full picture of who is this lead and why should I work with them. With CRM, all you got to do is assign them the lead. They have all the emails and correspondence, but they should have all the leads and correspondence right there. And it's a much quicker process, and again, adding to some of the efficiencies that we talked about. It's also typically more agile in terms of updating. If you have a desktop software application, you have to wait for them to push updates, and since they're having to patch all of their customers if they fix or change something, it's a slower process. They have to be more careful. You have to update and install things. Whereas with web software, you can make an update and push it to the site immediately or very quickly. It's a lot easier to respond quickly to customer feedback and allow a more customer-driven development model. Some of the cons, sometimes they can be slower depending on your internet connection, which if you do entering a lot of leads, that can end up being pretty tedious. It's not available without internet unless that they allow that option, but that can also be a hassle if you're on the road or you're in an airplane. That's something you want to consider. And if the company that you host your data with folds, they go under, they stop servicing the CRM software you're using, then unless you have backups, you lose your data. So no matter who you're working with, backups are critical. I'm sure it goes without saying. So on the desktop side of things, desktop CRMs have been around a lot longer. There's a lot of them out there. And they're typically pretty fast because they're running locally on your computer or on your company's server. All your data is stored there, so you don't have to worry about depending on any third party to retrieve that data in the event that something happens. And you don't need to have that connection usually. So those are those are advantages that you do want to consider when looking at what do I need out of a CRM. Is it just going to be me? Is it just going to be on my laptop? And am I just going to be using it when I'm traveling? Then you probably don't want a web base unless you have one, a internet card or something like that. And again, in the cons for the desktop software is if your computer crashes and it's local, your data is lost, so you have to back it up again. It's not very easy to collaborate if you have local software and your other salesperson has local software and they don't build any connection or bridge between the two. Then it becomes a lot more cumbersome to trade and share leads, and it's almost akin to forwarding all the emails and things like that we mentioned for transferring a sales lead. So I've identified 3 CRM systems as kind of like enterprise, mid-level, and then small businesses, freelance. And these systems cater to those types of individuals. So there's Salesforce, which is the 900-pound gorilla, which it's a pro and a con for them. They're very customizable, very flexible, tons of software is built on Salesforce, which I'll go through in a second. But they also are, for that same reason, more complex and more cumbersome than an individual may use. Sugar CRM, which is kind of the mid-level, they have a lot of the features that Salesforce has, but they're actually open source. They allow developers to make changes to the CRM, and they accept it if it works, if it makes sense, which is a big advantage. If an open source is something that you get a community to drive behind what you're doing, you have a lot of free updates and a lot of free changes, and people are adding to it as they need, and you're not reliant on the capacity of Sugar CRM to make updates. So that I thought was nice. I thought that another reason that they were a mid-sized company or catered to them is that it's relatively easy to use, much easier than Salesforce in my opinion, and they have a lot of features that allow you to set up different departments that all collaborate, so it works with mid-size. And then Karma, which is the CRM that we developed. And that's really, it's not gonna stand up to Salesforce or Sugar CRM in terms of maturity or features or customization, but sometimes when you're a small company, you don't need them. You need to add a lead, you need to track the history of them, you need to know who's hot and who's not. And so that's really Karma's sweet spot, is for the small companies, small to mid-sized companies and individuals. So we have Salesforce. It's good for, again, enterprise corporate customers requiring a lot of customization. I mean, Salesforce agents, you can actually have someone come set up Salesforce where you spend a month or however long it takes to really set all the settings and everything up to your company. Then you can have your whole sales force, hundreds of people using it. And Salesforce is good at that. They have agents that go remotely. They also have a lot of support and help that you can get. So for the enterprise level customer, it makes a lot of sense, especially when you need to say this has to work exactly like this, or else it won't work for the way that we do business. It also helps to rely on a big name for companies that aren't comfortable with trusting a smaller, less known CRM system, and sometimes that's important as well for vendor selection. And why can they do this? We kind of went over this, but the flexibility that it allows, there's tons of modules and features. There are whole applications that are built on Salesforce, like maybe particularly like Financial Force is catered to the financial industry, and there are many other things of that nature. So I got some screenshots, which are going to be pretty hard to see again for the back, but I kind of took a few screenshots of each of the CRM software so you can get an idea of how it looks. So this is a contact view for Salesforce. You can see, the most important information, your lead details, and you can add notes, add tasks. This is where you'd be spending a lot of your time in the CRM. And then you see on the top, we have other things like opportunities, reports, things like that. As you can see, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot you can do, but the caveat is that if you're a salesperson and you just want to do a few things, you might end up clicking on a number of buttons or features that you don't necessarily need. This is the dashboard view, or a dashboard view of Salesforce. Most CRM software comes with a home page that allows you to kind of customize it according to the reports and the items that are important to you. And this is really critical because you may only care about the support tickets that are open, or your sales pipeline, or what your projections are for the next 90 days. And most of the systems that are available allow you to take this home portal and make it work with what data you need to see. which is really good. Every time you log in, you see it. It's in your face. And I meant to update the screenshot, but I went into the customization of Salesforce and looked around, and you can expand all those links on the left, and it made my head spin. But if that's what you need, then it works really well for that. I mean, I've talked to people that have implemented Salesforce, relatively small companies, small to mid-size, implemented Salesforce, spent 50 hours or so customizing it exactly how they need it, and they're very happy with it. So it can be done. It depends on what you need and what you're willing to put into it. So then you have Sugar CRM, which mid-size, they can handle the enterprise level stuff too. They have some reasons why they fit in that category. But I think that overall their interface was easier to use than Salesforce, so a little more intuitive. It's actually, since it's open source, if you have someone that has the technical know-how, you can download Sugar CRM for free and install it on your server locally, and then you don't have to pay anything. So because of that becomes a very enticing option for people that want to set it up locally and they don't want to deal with paying a monthly recurring charge. It also has a nice integration between various roles in your company. If you have a customer service user, a sales user, and a help desk user, you can actually set them up individually with different roles, and how Sugar CRM looks changes a bit according to what they infer those people need to see. And I thought that was a really nice feature for if you have even a few customer service reps, a few salespeople, they're not going to want to see the same data, and it has presets to allow you to set that up in that way. Again, it's also open source, which is really nice. You have a lot of people actively building Sugar CRM, actively making it better, and you get that value added. Every time they push new updates, you get the benefit of a whole community working on your software with the same problems as you. So this is a screenshot of the same customer view in Sugar CRM. It's a little bit cleaner, it's a little more organized, you have tabs and things. They don't put the buttons everywhere, they have a method of the madness. And I thought that this is actually the new version of Sugar. This isn't out yet, this is the new version that's going to be coming out. But so that's the contact view. There's more information than if you scroll down. But this is where you live again if you're using the CRM a lot. It's in the customer view. And this is the My Sugar, which is your home page. If you could read those tabs up there, they have a sales and a marketing and a support tab. So you can tab through the different dashboards and see what's important for the support team, what reports are important for the sales team. So at a higher level, managing your company, you have a really easy way to filter through the various divisions, even if the divisions are one person each, and get an idea of what's going on. This is an example of the support tab. You see here illustrated is some example data from these are tickets or cases. How many cases are open, what tickets are closed, who's assigned to what ticket. So you get a high-level overview of, on the support end of things, what's going on. Are there a lot of open tickets? Is someone overwhelmed? When you're signing a ticket, you can just click on this tab and get a good feel for how that works. And that's what I say when I say that Sugar CRM has a good ability to tie in the various different roles that your company may have and give you information that's relevant to those roles.
Yeah.
And then we have KarmaCRM. KarmaCRM, we try to go for a very simple, intuitive interface. We wanted to emphasize collaboration with small teams. We felt like some of the other systems did not have that down pat. It's a constant work in progress. We wanted to make it available for individuals, but also be able to scale for a small team. If you have 1,000 users, it's not going to be right for you, but 5 to 10 people, things, kind of on that end of things. Also, quick user adoption. I mean, as a salesperson myself, I know how fickle it is, how easy it is to try some software and then give up on it. As we had other salespeople in our division at MetaSpring, we tried to adopt various software packages, and the complexity of the systems caused us to revert back to our old ways. The sticky note model I showed you earlier, or spreadsheets. And that's a real-world example of user adoption and what it means to make sure that your CRM conforms to your business. So that's the way around. And then we also emphasize customer-driven development. So we actively communicate with our users on a daily basis, and it's been tremendous. If any of you have a software or are developing software, this model for us particularly has been very interesting, very, very amazing to hear the feedback that people give. It's also has a minimal amount of configuration to get rolling. So if you want to jump in, you want to start adding leads today, you could spend an hour customizing it, or you could just dive right in, and there's a minimal amount of configuration necessary to get rolling. So this is the dashboard view of a contact. Same features that are present in the other ones in terms of adding nodes, adding tasks, things like that. Just a slightly different way of presenting it. Again, the dashboard allowing you to choose which widgets are present, what information is relevant to you, and Sugar CRM and Salesforce, they have a leg up on the maturity and having a large number of options to select from. With something like Karma or some of the other web-based systems that are more on the small business and the individual end of things, they're not going to have as many features. So that's something to consider. And it is a con to consider if that's what you need. If you need the flexibility, you want to look at that up front. Because if you knock off one or two features and say you can do without them, and then keep adding up, it's just going to be painful for you. So it's important to correctly assess what your needs are from a CRM. Another thing Karma does, and these other systems do too, is some kind of calendar integration. So you want to have your sales team share a calendar and know what events you're scheduled for, and your self-scheduled events, you're not missing them, and some form of reminder when they come up, so that you know you're not missing it. You're not getting a call and you're 15 minutes, appointment's coming up in 15 minutes and you're 2 hours away. So, once you review the different systems, what do you do to implement CRM? What's important to look at and consider? There's a lot of options, desktop, web-based, we've reviewed a few. It can be overwhelming. We reviewed probably 3 or 4 before even deciding to reinvent the wheel and make our own. But what I advise the people, what we spend a good deal of time on is, before selecting a system, use it. Even if it means adding a bunch of leads and that you're going to be wasting time on. It's worth taking the time to make sure that it feels right for you and has the features that your sales team needs. I think this is one of the most important things, because there's something about the feel, and if it just doesn't feel right, if your salespeople look at it and like, they tell you right off the bat it's a little too confusing or it doesn't make sense according to the way we operate, you're going to be trying to force them continually, or yourself, to use it. And doing your due diligence, even if you have to spend a few days, most of the systems offer a free trial, at least 30 days, pretty easy to get signed up. You can do it and spend a few days, and it's going to save you a lot of pain down the road. If you pick the right thing, your salespeople are going to use it. If you don't, and they don't, you don't never know what happened then. Then once you have a good idea of maybe the system you're going to use, you want to define how are you going to use it. Is it going to be strictly sales? Many CRM systems are. They just, until some person becomes a contact or a sale, or the deal closes, they're in the CRM, and then after that, they're in project management software, or they're in some other system. And they may stay in there too, but is it going to be your customer service reps that are using it? Is it going to be a post-sale thing? Is it going to be for your marketing department? Are they going to try to use it to market to people, create lists, send information out? Those are the type of things that you want to determine, as well as, is it going to be a help desk thing? So again, another important thing with selecting the CRM, and I think this is something that we at MetaSpring, we adopted a CRM system when we were in the search, before really assessing if it did what we needed it to do. We tried to conform our sales process to the CRM system, and it worked to varying degrees, and ultimately it fell apart. But another piece of advice is select a system that conforms to your sales process as opposed to the other way around. Now that doesn't mean you can't improve your sales process based on efficiencies and things that you can use a CRM to kind of change bad habits. But if you have to fundamentally alter the way that you sell to people because if the feature isn't present in the system, that's going to be painful, and you want to avoid that at all costs. You also want to set standards for how people use a CRM. Setting a team of salespeople loose on a CRM without any rules, you're going to get a lot of people using it different ways. So spending the time beforehand to meet with people, establish a standardized set of rules for how it's going to be used is a really important part to making sure that you can trust the data, that everybody is operating on the same standards, and therefore you can say these projections are accurate, these leads are up to date, and I know who's not doing it right. And that's another thing. It may take a little time to work with the team to say what are our sales standards, but with the tools available, that's another pretty important part of the process. And that's all I got.
My question for Jean-Paul is, when we've implemented a CRM system, whether it's Salesforce.com or KarmaCRM, how do you go about motivating your sales teams to actually use it?
Fire. It's a really good question. I think it's a combination of having the right reporting tools on the management end to see who isn't actually following the rules, and also if you find the right system, if you customize the system the way that it should be used, but the salesperson's goal, all they care about, or not all, but the most important thing they care about in their role is closing business. If you can show them a clear path to how this is going to be more effective than what they're using and have it be true, then it's going to be more likely that they'll adopt it. If it's not true, if they are more effective using their own methods, then maybe the CRM either isn't right or it's not set up in the right way. So I think it partially sells itself based on using it and getting people involved, and there may still be some education and a little barrier to entry, but I think ultimately if you do it right and you choose the right system, it should sell itself in so many ways.
Thank you for the presentation. That was well done. We have a CRM system that we use that every time I turn it on, I look for the sharpest object in the room and I try to gouge my eyes out. It is absolutely abysmal. But the challenge we have is it's connected to the enterprise system that feeds into distribution, accounting, manufacturing in our system. Are there systems that you'd recommend that integrate more easily than others, require less, as minimal customization as possible to feed into some of those other systems so that we could separate a CRM package that works for our sales and marketing and customer service teams, but will feed back into the enterprise? That's something that's kind of a hindrance for us in changing our CRM system.
Sure, I certainly understand, and I've heard that a number of times from a number of different types of users. That's something that I think is as the industry matures and as more agile systems become available, though there will be connecting points for those kind of industry standard enterprise integrations. Right now, I wish I had a better solution, or better response in terms of the right solution, but sometimes you do become tied to a certain CRM system because of the advantages to integrating with ERP software, things like that. And I think again that as the industry matures and as more web-based software talks to those type of things, you might see more some kind of connecting piece where it interfaces and does the same thing and eliminates, decouples your dependence on that system. But at this point, I think it's early enough on that those things are still being developed.
Yeah, I'd like to just sort of comment because I've dealt exactly with that issue of integrating the different parts of CRM systems. And I think Jean-Paul sort of, when he talked about doing it himself and the sticky notes on the monitor, he talked about, in fact, the most sophisticated technology that we have, which is the neural net technology, which he carries around with him on his shoulders. The problem with that is, as he noted, was that it's not real scalable. But if you think of CRM in terms of trying to get back to that technology and make it scalable, then it becomes an issue of, okay, what do you want to do with the data? And you need to think of the CRM not as a technical solution. The software becomes tools, not solutions to anything, but tools to deal with a problem that is actually never solved, so there are no solutions. And the key thing is business strategy and the business organization that's going to be developed to use these tools. And Jean-Paul, in fact, stressed that when he talked about implementation and the necessity of integrating the organization with the tools that are being offered to make sure that you don't have that disconnect. So the kind of problem that you mentioned comes up when organizations don't think of CRM strategically from the beginning and just develop different pieces willy-nilly and then find, oh, they should work together, but we never thought of it that way.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that collaborating on a software level is not a new concept, but it's something that it's now becoming more important, as you mentioned, in an ad hoc fashion, adding this system for your marketing and this system for your sales and this system for your help desk ticketing. I can't imagine the countless people I've talked to that say we're trapped with all these archaic software packages, but now we realize that there's a little benefit to having them communicate in some way. And I'd like to see, as the industry develops, that becoming more of a standard, that all the efficiencies of the inefficiencies of not doing that, it's pretty evident as you get to bigger companies and what that means for their bottom line.
Yeah, just a quick question. Do all the systems integrate their calendars with like Google Calendar? Can you automatically sync calendars for all these systems?
I would imagine. I don't know if Salesforce or Highrise does. I mean, because of their robustness, I wouldn't put it behind them. I'm not 100% sure. Karma does. I mean, that's something that for our sales process, we had a sales calendar that not everyone needed to use a CRM, but many people needed to know when I might be out on a sales call or something. So we had a Google Calendar we shared. And then in Karma, I only use Karma. I don't even look at the Google Calendar, but it syncs with Google Calendar, so all the other people that may have it as a feed in their iCal or using the Google Calendar can see the changes that are made. And I wouldn't be surprised if Sugar CRM and Salesforce also addresses that issue in some way, or maybe it's syncing with Outlook and things like that.
I get leads from an autoresponder system, email autoresponder system. I have a sign-up form on my website, and I just get their names and email address. Does your system specifically integrate with a system like that, a third party?
It doesn't currently. We do have future plans. I mean, that's something that the big three components to this Karma and our vision for the CRM system is customer service, so post-sale, pre-sale, and then marketing. And being able to tie those three components together. Right now, we do have integration with MailChimp, which is a mailing third-party email provider or bulk mail provider, but we don't have a lot of tie-ins with other marketing pieces yet. But that's something that's paramount to the strategy behind Karma, being kind of a central piece, allowing you to use the services that you use, and then you get the leads and you do what you want with them, but without having to eliminate the service that you already enjoy using. So if you send the autoresponder you use, we can at least see if it's worth tagging it onto our list of development for third-party extensions. Any other questions?
With that, I'd like a big hand of applause for information and information covering different types of CRM packages, the alternatives that are available and out there for you. So thanks again, John Paul. And we will be getting John Paul's presentation up on the lunchandarbormarketing.org site. If you're new to Lunch Ann Arbor Marketing, we have a website, LA2M.org. We're also on Facebook, and we have a LinkedIn group. So you can connect with other Lunch Ann Arbor Marketings in many, many ways. We will now pass the mic. Please introduce yourself, your name, your business, or your objective. If you haven't asked, again, a little bit about what you do. And I'm going to start off with Fred.
I'm Fred Sauer with the Movera method, a tool to improve productivity for yourself personally and for business teams by removing the human impediments to performance. And I'm an international company, but a one-man company.
I'm Ed Carlson, president of American Aero Construction, among a few other small companies. And one of the things I'm still looking for is a mechanical designer. I know it's not related to marketing, but if you happen to know anybody that wants to do some freelance mechanical design work, I could use their contact information. information. Thank you.
Don Klein with Fleming Artists and A-Box Music. We're an agency down the street. They also write music for commercials, TV, film, and the web.
My name is Maureen McCory. I'm with Huron Valley Ambulance, the customer service specialist. We have been your local not-for-profit provider for over 28 years, and we provide all levels of medical transportation.
Hi everybody, I'm Nicole Carbach. I also work with Huron Valley Ambulance. I do the in-home medical monitoring service that we provide. My ask would be if you have any seniors, family, friends that would need a service like that, that you refer them to Huron Valley Ambulance. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Stacey Collin with Dollarville Copying. We are your locally owned digital print shop, and lately I have been meeting with nonprofits to help them save money and still look good when they mail their printed pieces.
Hi, I'm Teresa Hunt, and I work for Sandler Training. I'm still new. This is my first time here. And Mike kindly brought me with him today to introduce me to all of you guys.
Yeah, Mike Wynn was saying the training, and Teresa's my ride. The shop, so drug her along. My clients usually come to me for one or two reasons. Either they're looking to improve their sales performance. It might be things like getting in front of more of the right types of prospective customers, or maybe being able to close deals with the right types of prospective customers. Or it's things like they're just sick and tired of spending a lot of time on the prospecting and selling, want to be more efficient, or maybe they're just uncomfortable with selling at all. So if that sounds like your world, come see me.
Hi, my name is Lev Wood, and I work for a company called MS2, Midwestern Software Solutions. We design transportation and database systems.
I'm Lanny White with GrowBiz. Small businesses come to us when they're stuck on trying to grow. We're also looking for some contract salespeople. So if you are or you know some, please see me.
And my name is Mark Reynolds, and I'm also with GrowBiz, and I'm going to do a commercial for Sandler Sales. These guys, unpaid, but there's always later. These guys do the best job of getting you acclimated to moving up in your selling skills, and I recommend them very, very highly.
Hi, my name is Maria. I work at Shoshana Technologies, which is a local software company, and we're in the process of switching CRMs right now, so I'm hoping to get some information about that.
Hi, my name is Yurik. I also work for Shoshana Technologies, and yeah, I'm here to learn more about CRM systems. So we recently started using Arbor.
Hi, I'm Lisa Russo from Arbor Builders, and I'm trying to implement our CRM, and hopefully I'm getting some better ideas today.
Hi, I'm Pearl Mathias, and I do at Affordable Computers, and I'm here to learn everything I can about Arbor.
Hi, everybody. Mike Nato, Affordable Computers here in town. We have a showroom over in South Industrial. We sell and support computer technology. We're also just recently gotten into the copier, the multifunctional printer business. So we'd like to help you out if we can.
Hi, I'm Andy Ross, and you know, a lot of you probably know me because I've been coming to the LA2M things for several years now. I was kind of an early adopter. But anyway, you probably know that I worked on my own and did Flash programming and so on. But our business has changed a little bit. My wife has joined me in the business, and she's going to be handling the client and sales side of things. And we're calling our new business Stunning. And we're going to be a full-service design company, and we'll be able to help people with websites and graphic design and any sort of advertising people need to do on the web.
Hi. I want to thank John Paul because that was a really great presentation. As Andy just said, I just came onto the business side with him, and so I have a stack of his leads and my leads, and I'm used to working with Excel spreadsheets. So
Andy Gregors from the Ypsilanti Area Convention Visitors Bureau. I'm an intern there right now from Central Michigan University in the Recreation, Parks, and Leisure Service. So anyone looking for rec majors and tourism, let me know. I'm looking for a job come August.
Hi, I'm Julie Mack with the Ypsilanti Area Convention and Visitors Bureau, and we market and sell all of Washtenaw County to visitors. So if anybody goes to a conference or a convention anywhere in the U.S., say here in Grand Rapids, we'd like you to think about bringing that meeting here to Washtenaw County so that those dollars can be spent here to help our community. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Reda, also with Affordable Computers. We offer great deals on refurbished PCs and Apple computers.
Hi, my name is Ellie Ganell and I'm with the Carytown Concert House. I'm also a freelancer. I do writing and PR work.
Hi, Joe Menard from the Journal of Commerce. We do e-commerce websites for small and medium-sized businesses. But I want to congratulate JP. I had the fortune of working with him when he just started KarmaCRM, and I can tell you